know you're tongue-tied, don't let this high die. In the morning, will you tell me that it's alright? I only love you when you're standing in the moonlight. Don't let this high die, don't let this high die. Playing these games, we going in circles again. I know they're all fake, flashing fake smiles again. We playing these games, we going in circles again. I know they're all fake, flashing fake smiles again. Let's pick it up from where we left off. Yeah, you said something that went like fuck off. Yeah, all these frauds wearing knockoffs. Yeah, all these drugs keep me fucked up. Yeah, I guess we're just having some fun. Sugarcoat the truth, what's the worst thing you've done? Taking all these pills just so I can feel numb. I'm always saying it's the last fucking one. Playing these games, we going in circles again. I know they're all fake, flashing fake smiles again. We playing these games, we going in circles again. I know they're all fake, flashing fake smiles again. I know you're tongue-tied, don't let this high die. In the morning, will you tell me that it's alright? I only love you when you're standing in the moonlight. Don't let this high die, don't let this high die. I know you're tongue-tied, don't let this high die. In the morning, will you tell me that it's alright? I only love you when you're standing in the moonlight. Don't let this high die, don't let this high die.
What is going on, guys? My name's Hunter. This is the Anonymous Styly YouTube channel. Welcome or welcome back. This video, I'm really stoked on. I think it's gonna help a lot of people out, but it's also gonna make a lot of people angry and irritated for a lot of reasons. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. So in the beginning of this video, there's gonna be a little bit of talking, and then we're gonna get straight to it and show you guys a whole new world that maybe you did know, maybe you didn't know, and we're more focused on the ones that don't know about this. And I feel like it's time for someone to do something about this exact topic and way to do something, because this way could make someone a lot of money, and it could also screw someone over pretty hard. So I don't want to partake in that by any means. I want to help some people out. Maybe double check to make sure before they spend a lot of money they shouldn't. Or maybe, who knows, someone wants to do this and make some money, then cool, whatever it is. But this video is on UCF20 clear taillights. Now, I don't know about UCF10s yet, and I say yet because we'll know soon enough. And once you watch this video, you know exactly what I mean. Here's the Y33. I thought you guys would appreciate a little beginning shot. I know you guys like to see that car. But let's jump into this video and let's talk about something real quick. So, the sensitive topic of clear taillights, everyone wants them, but maybe you don't have this kind of money. That's a lot of money for some taillights, right? And the higher someone sells them, the next person thinks they can get higher. And they are a rare item, although there used to be tons of companies that used to make these taillights. There was a good 12 or so. And they went out of style and companies stopped making them, right? And now it's just used ones and dead stock, right? Well, another huge thing that people do besides buying authentic clears is this. They split open the OEM taillight and get rid of the actual lens, grab some black silicone and seal around, attaching the reflector to the housing. We've got the little trim pieces that go into here, and then they are wrapped chrome. Don't know why. You literally don't even have a taillight lens. That can't be worth it. In my eyes, it's not. I'd rather have OEM taillights They still look good, although they have the orange, and a simple solution is hold off until you can find some clear taillights, or you could always make all red taillights, but instead people do that. No hate to anyone that has those taillights or make those taillights, but it just doesn't look good. It doesn't give the same appeal, and it almost in a sense ruins the authentic, like the complete authentic swing that clear taillights has, because even back then there was ads in magazines on how to make DIY taillights. They used to remove the outer lens, heat up plexiglass, and form it to the taillight, and then on the outer they used to paint it black to go all the way around so you couldn't see the housing, and that means you would have black bars as the trim piece inside of the taillight, and the fact that you would have this outer black piece. So little heads up there, maybe you're looking for some taillights and someone still has those black pieces, that most of the time means it was a DIY set, because clear taillights weren't a thing until about 2001, 2002, and until about 2006, I want to say. They were super popular and then they weren't. So in this video, I am going to show you guys how to take your red clear reds and turn them into clear taillights. And the reason why you can do this is because injection molding for plastic is expensive. These companies back then wanted to make the most profit off the items they were making. So instead of making 8 plastic molds, they would only make 4. Now, if they only did 4 and made the red clear reds, that means they couldn't make clear lenses. So what they did was make clear molds and then add a type of red tint or red dye to the top of the lens or inside of the lens to give it the red clear look. So we're gonna do a set of UCF20s, and I have a set of UCF20 early term red clear red taillights right over there, and I also have red clear red late term. So at some point I'm gonna post on my Instagram to see who thinks the late term or the early term is the most rare, and whatever is voted most rare, we're just gonna make a set real quick and toss another one out in the world. Now before I do this, I'm gonna be baking taillights, and I'm gonna be kind of sanding them like you would your headlights to get rid of the yellowing, which I'm not gonna include much video on because that's not the purpose of this video. So if you guys need to learn how to do any of those two things, there's thousands of videos on YouTube about how to do that. I want to get straight to the point on how to get you guys clear taillights the perfect, next to best, authentic way, because it's the same company that made these back then. It's just removing some dye or some tint. So let's get right into this. After all that talking and everything like that, the part is here. It's time. And before we get any further into this video, make sure to go support Kuruma, the boys Taylor, and all of them. Go support them. Go shop. Go buy some clothes. Go buy some hats. Go buy whatever it is. Now let's get into this video. What I have here are some early term UCF20 red clear red taillights. And we're going to do something pretty awesome with these guys, and hopefully teach you guys something that maybe you didn't know with not only these, but I have one damaged LED red clear red, has a whole bunch of damage on the corner, and I bought it just for this video. I bought all of this just to show you guys this. So we have one LED and then non-LEDs that all are gonna do the same thing. All these taillights, all 5, are produced and manufactured by the same company, the non-LEDs and the LEDs. This next step, everyone's got their opinion on how to do it correctly. Everyone thinks they're right. So in this video, I'm doing it the way I am most comfortable and the safest way I know how to do it. There's so many other ways to do this, temperatures, times, or even just using a heat gun and no oven. We have to crack these things open and separate the lens from the housing, and you need to be really, really careful. These things are old, brittle, it's just plastic, so if you're not patient pulling these apart, you're gonna crack them, you're gonna break them, and you're gonna waste a set of taillights. So use caution when separating taillights. How I like to do this is do a 325 oven heat, and I do it for 4 minutes. This is just something after the years. This is the perfect recipe for myself. If you don't agree with this, do it the way you want, or hit Google. There's tons and tons of different ways to do this. While the oven's preheating, let me show you guys the tools you'll need to crack open some taillights if you've never done it. These are the tools I like to use. 2 different size screwdrivers for prying and wedging into between the lens and the housing. I like to use this clay tool because it's got the sharp edge that I can get into smaller areas to pull up to then get the screwdriver in. And then while you're separating the lens from the housing, glue and silicone are going to be pulling with the lens, so I use the razor blade to cut away to get the lens off clean. Just heard the oven beep, so it's preheated. Let's go put the taillight inside of the oven. This thing is very hot. So I use the clay tool and I go under the clips to pry up so I can get my small screwdriver underneath to pull up, while I use the big one to get behind it and slowly start pulling the lens out. I go all the way around doing that before I even try to pop the lens out so I don't crack it. Let me show you guys a little bit closer up of the clips that I'm talking about. So these are the clips right here. There's another one right here, and then there's some on the back side underneath. But I use this tool to go underneath, and then I pry up, while I use the flathead to come from this side to start prying just a little bit, and then use the bigger one to get behind the lens to kind of pull it back. You don't want to tear up your housing, so just do this very slowly. If this is not coming out, let it cool all the way down, preheat the oven again, throw it back in, and do it until you actually pop it out, so you don't force the lens out and break it. One is done. This is what I was talking about with those chrome pieces. The OEM ones are black. They get wrapped chrome to give it this look. Now, those 3 need to go into the oven and get split just like this one. So let's get that done. 2 are done. Three are done, 1 more to go. 4 done. That was not a how to crack open taillights video, that was me just simply getting it done for this video. There is a ton, and I mean a ton, of YouTube videos on how to do that process. If you guys don't know how, I definitely suggest typing that into the search bar and figuring it out, because it's a really cool method of pretty much heating up the taillight. And this is all held on by like silicone and sealant, where when you heat it up, everything gets all loose, no matter the age, and you're able to actually pull the taillights apart. After about 2002, you can't do that anymore. The manufacturers actually plastic weld their taillights shut. So this method is not for all cars. So fair warning, if you try to do this with a newer style car, you cannot. This is only a 90s thing, honestly. But we're on to the next step, and actually the fun part of this video. I know that was just some cinematic or whatever fill-in stuff that was. I just wanted to make sure you guys know how I got here, but now it's time for the fun part. Who knows, maybe you already knew this, maybe you didn't, but let's teach those that didn't know this. That way they can get these style taillights that they want. In front of me are a few things you'll need for this project. Keep in mind that you can only do this if you have the Red Clear Red taillights. You cannot use OEM taillights for this, because the OEM taillights actually have the pigment of red and orange inside of the plastic. Now, We're gonna do the LED one first when I do this, the one with the chip on the end. And to tell you the truth, to sum this up, this is like a tint. This is a somehow applied tint to these. We kind of discussed that in the beginning of this video, but I'm gonna show you guys exactly what I mean. So this is what you'll need, and you can get all this stuff, not all this stuff, these things at Home Depot. So if you guys are in need of it, just go to your local Home Depot and pick exactly this up. So you will need a stripper. This is exactly what I'm gonna use right here, the clean strip. You'll need a brush of some sort to apply this to here, and wear gloves. This stuff is spicy. If you get this on your skin, it's gonna burn. You're not gonna have a good time. It's not gonna feel good, so wear gloves. I'm not gonna split this one like I did the other ones because this has a ginormous chip and crack in it. I bought this just for this video, and I'm just gonna show you the demo on this. And then I'll show you why it's important to split them if you're gonna do this. So let's get into this. What we're going to do is apply this stripper to this paintbrush, and we're going to just coat the top of the lens. Like I said, I'm not taking this one apart for this demo. I'm just going to show you a little bit on a bigger surface because this is like the entire thing rather than the clear strip that goes to the middle. There's more coverage to show you guys exactly what's going to happen on this. So I'm going to take the stripper now and just coat it all over this thing. You're going to want to let this sit for like 10-ish minutes. I'm going to set this up and zoom the camera in so you guys can actually physically see what's going on the tail light. Get what we're doing? So this is just the test that I already mentioned. This is what it does. It starts to take away the red and eats at whatever application this was from the factory that made these taillights. And this is the LED version. So if you guys have the LED version, you can go ahead and do this. Now you'll want to take off the lenses because on the outer portion of the lens itself, on the inside there's also some on each strip. So right here there won't be any, but here, and you'll be able to see that even with the taillight together. So pop your lenses off, do it the right way. I want to see no one doing this like half, you know, give it full effort, no half effort or anything like that. So let's actually clear the ones that we just took apart. I'm going to start working on the outers of the lenses. You can't get this if it's in the housing, so this is why you should split them for the best results. And they don't, you want them to look good, right? So don't don't not split them and do this, because you're not going to be happy with the result. Spend all this time doing it and you're just going to send it just because it's nearly done. So split the lenses, take them apart, put them in the oven, split them properly, and do this properly so they look absolutely stunning. This is what we have now. We still have a little red on the outer portion there, and on this one right here, hopefully you guys can see that. That's okay if you can't get all of that. Now that you've applied this stripper, it's going to cloud up the lens super bad. You can see that. So you need to do basically what you would do to restore headlights and sand these. So using 800, 1000, 1500, 2000, 2500, and 3000, and then a good polish on these, and they will brighten up a lot. So that's what I'm going to get going on. I'm going to get one done, bang out the other three, and then show you guys the end results before we put them back together in the oven and all those things. But I'm going to get this done and looking good so I can show you guys and then get the other ones done. We almost have this thing where we want. Boom. It's still very, very foggy. This is only 800 grit because I need to take care of, you'll see, like that. That's from that stripper. So, piece of advice, do not get that on the inside because the inside has rigid lines that just make the taillights look the best. So if you get any of that on the inside of the lens and you have to sand that, you're putting the lines at risk of getting damaged. So keep it out of the inside of the lens. This is on the outside. So this is what I was pretty much taking care of. That stuff will bite the plastic a bit. So you have to sand it smooth, sand all of that damage off of it to get a nice looking lens. For the worst part of this all is I'm not going to sand past 800 grit yet. I have a few more things to do, and that's get all of the red out of the crevices. So on these sides here, you can almost see, it's going to be super hard on camera, but in person you can really see how pink it is on the edges going along all the way around, because while we were doing this, the red was flowing into it, and it's really hard not to do that. So I'm just going to take a clay tool and kind of scrape it out, and then once it's all out, then when I'm doing 1000, 1500, 2000, 3000, I'm going to just go ahead and sand in there to make sure that I clean it all up, make it look good. The only thing you really cannot do anything about is the fact that in the existing silicone sealant glue, you're going to get red in it. But luckily, that doesn't matter, because when this is in there, this whole rigid piece is going to be tucked behind the housing. So you don't really have to worry about that too much. But what we do need to worry about is the outer portion, because you're going to be able to see that super well. So make sure you get all of the red out of it. I'm going to start scraping it out. The pink is scraped out of the edges. The rest of it, while I'm sanding with 1000 grit and 15 and whatnot, I'll hit the edges to make sure that I get all of the markings and everything like that. But let's get this thing cleaned up and uncloudy. One is done and it looks fantastic. We have a little bit more cleaning up to do, but we will do that once it's back on the housings and I can fully buff the taillight and make it look really good. It's kind of hard to do by yourself with just the lens without trying to damage it. But for a DIY, although I want to consider it DIY, you're just stripping the material off of the lens. You're not creating something more or something new. So I want to consider it DIY, but it really is. But look at the comparison between the driver outer and the passenger outer. Set both lenses on the housings to show you guys a little bit more of a look of the finished product between what we started and now where we're at. And it's a crazy difference of just removing the pigment from the Red Clear Red and making it the clear. And keep in mind, these are offered by the same company that used to make these though there was a bunch of different companies that used to make clear taillights, like you guys saw in the beginning of this video. They offered the clear and then the red, but all they did was make injection molds for the clear lens, and to save money, added the red on top of the clear. So that's how we get here. I explained this in the beginning of the video, but kind of like a rerun, but doesn't that just look perfect? Absolutely perfect. It's getting kind of late, but I'm gonna crunch out these other 3. That one took me about an hour. So I want to say I should be able to get the other 3 done in about 2 more hours, maybe 3. It's like midnight right now, but I want to bang it out so you guys can see some final product tomorrow morning when I wake up and see these things completely cleared out, and hopefully it helps you guys with your Red Clear Red. So let me crank these other 3 out. Good morning. My camera died last night, so I have to record this all on my phone because I don't have my battery chargers here. So we're going to get going on the inner lenses and kind of just show you the process of it, and show you another little trick that I didn't show last night. I didn't do it because it wasn't needed, but on these ones it is. So I'm going to show you a little trick with like the sealant. Alright, so we have a whole bunch of sealant from the housing that is actually covering some red on the taillight. So you see that down there? That's all underneath of this. And you can actually see it. So in order to make this actually look 100% good, you need to remove this sealant, and paint thinner actually gets it done very well. It eats it away and gunks it all up, and you can actually remove it very easily. So if you guys want to take the old sealant off of them and put new stuff on, grab some paint thinner when you go ahead and grab the stripper, and you'll be set. So I'm going to go ahead and get the red cleaned up from down here, and then we'll move to the top portion. Sweet. All of the red on the sides is gone. Now we can move to the top portion. We're on the most difficult part of this entire thing. We have the keyhole. Don't get lazy with this part. It's gonna suck because you have all of that seal that you need to get off and get the red behind, because if you don't, you're gonna see it through the keyhole. So take your time with this. Have all clear lenses. Don't leave any red because you're rushing. Make sure you do this perfect. All of the sealant is off the keyhole. So now when I do the stripper, it's going to get the inside, the outside, and completely get rid of the red. If you don't do this, you're going to see some red through there. So do it. First pass with the stripper, and you can see there is some red inside the keyhole. So if you didn't get all that sealant out, you would be able to see so much through it. I'm going to do the inside now and take care of that to get it all cleaned up. Woo! Look at that keyhole. Find me any red in there, please. Currently wet sanding these inside of the lenses to get all of these sand marks out and all of the marks from the stripper. It's going to eat the plastic a little bit, so you want to wet sand the marks out, and just be cautious and make sure you get between the lines and next to the lines and stuff that are inside the fluttered lines. I'm doing 800, 1,000, 1,500, 2,000, 3,000, and then I'm going to polish them. So make sure you guys do this to get like the complete clear, nice, clean lens. But this isn't a video on how to do this. This is a video on how to get your red clear reds to clear taillights. So I'm going to continue to do this. We're almost done, and then we can reassemble the taillights. Boom. All right, next step, we're going to take our black silicone and just pour it around, fill all of these holes, and we're done. It's going to look sick. I'm just joking. No hate to the people that have those, but we're going to do this the right way. After about 4 hours of actually working on these things, I am done with the lenses. Earlier today, I posted on my Instagram story of what UCF20 chassis was more rare to find taillights for, the early term or late term. Me thinking it was going to be late term was the guesses, because that's my opinion. I did the same thing because I had red clear reds for late and early, and I prepped a set of inners clear because I thought it was going to be late, and I was wrong. So now this is what I have. Got a set of late term inners and early. But since you guys voted early, we're going to take these two and these guys and make some clear taillights, leaving these guys to go in a box or something. I don't know. But look at that. Look at that. Red clear reds to clear lenses. All 6 of these were all red clear reds. Now we gotta assemble these guys into the housings over there. Essentially what we're gonna have, the lenses are just placed in front, so they're not actually on there, but look at that. Exactly how they should look. So let's get these things back in the oven and all put back together. One last thing we want to do is clean the inside of the lenses to make sure there's no fingerprints, smudges, dirt, microfiber fibers, anything. There can't be anything in the lenses because once they're closed, you don't want to reopen them. So I'm going to go ahead and clean the insides to make sure we're all good. And then we're going to go back in the oven at the 325 for 4 minutes. And then I actually use zip ties. I make a big old zip tie and go around the taillights to properly get them to seal. Now you could also go get brand new tape, seal tape, and tape inside of this, but you should pull out the old stuff if you're going to use new stuff. I've never had anything leak, fingers crossed, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use the existing sealant because there's a bunch still in here that I'm going to make sure it's snug, all the clips go back in properly, and we'll be done. And we'll probably give them one more buff, but that's it. We're almost done making these clear taillights. Go outside. Go outside.
Go outside.
Hit me with the jump. Hit me with the jump. Woo! You want X Games mode.
She started jumping because I started moving closer.
The oven is almost preheated. We're so close. So this is the zip tie method I use. It's always worked for me. I know it looks interesting, and some people are going to tell me wrong for doing this, but this has always worked for me, and I feel like I've split at least well over 50 taillights and reassembled them and done exactly this. So I always do this just to keep it tight to hold the clips in that we had popped off to remove the lenses. So I let these sit, cool down, and then I just cut the zip ties, and we're going to do a little cleaning on the outer lenses because the sealant, while you're putting stuff together, it gets all over your hands, and then you have to touch the lens, so they're a little dirty after doing that. But give them a good clean, and then this is it. We're going to show you guys them once we get them pretty much cleaned up and zip ties off. We'll show you them back in the garage. And they are done. All resealed, put back together, and completely clear. Red clear reds to clear taillights. Right before I show you guys these, I hope, although, let me back up. I know people are going to be mad at this because they already have clears. They just dropped a good amount of cash on clears, or they've spent a big amount of cash in the past on their clear taillights they currently have. Whatever it is, maybe someone just sold Red Clear Reds for like a good deal or something like that, or in the past they had Red Clear Reds they sold because they didn't like them or something like that, and knowing that this was at their fingertips, it might make people upset. But for the culture, man, for the culture, clear taillights are a huge history of the Celsior, and to keep it thriving in the most authentic way as possible, I'm all for it. All for the VIP scene, you know. Been involved in this scene for, I don't even know how long now. Not acting like I'm only 25. And I'm not trying to act like I've been involved in this for years and years and years. But just seeing what people do to get the clear taillight look, absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. So I really hope this helps you all get some lenses on your taillights and have good looking clear taillights, because unless you're buying clears, see, here's the thing now too, is people that have clear taillights, heads up, this has been a huge thing in Japan for a long time. If you've asked me personally to get you clear taillights from Japan, there's a 90% chance I said no, because I knew about this. I knew about all the scandalous stuff that happens with the clear taillights because of the value of them. I wouldn't do it. And I didn't want to be involved in it. I want no chance of anything backfiring on me because someone wanted clear taillights. So I've always said no. I've brought in over a few sets that I knew were 100% good, but this just makes you think, how many of your guys' clear taillights are authentically clear from the factory? Or did someone do this before you got them? I'll leave it at that. Take a look at the taillights, and then we're going to sign off this video. So here are the Red Clear Red taillights that we turned to clear in this video. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope it helped you guys out in the LS400 community to get that exact look you want. And maybe you have Red Clear Reds currently that you've always wanted clears, but you couldn't get them, so you settled. I still think Red Clear Reds are the best look over clear taillights. I love these. I do. Don't get me wrong, but nothing like some non-LED Red Clear Red taillights. I absolutely love them. They look so good, especially on black or white cars. But I hope this helps you guys. I really do. I hope those people that have always wanted these but just can't fathom that type of money. That type of money for these. I hope this helps. I really do. Thank you guys so much for watching the Anonymous Styling YouTube channel. I hope that I can bring you more videos like this. The more I dig into these items that people really want, or finding like a DIY situation or some type of flip around for you guys to get stuff like this.